it's been a while since you've joined me in the kitchen, but we're going to carry on with the garden. Now, given the whole pandemic and the world situation and lockdown, I can't get the plant, well I can get the plant, I can't get the labour to start digging the garden out. So I'm trying to get everything to something like and see what we can get done in preparation to start the garden and get it finished as far as possible. So what I'm doing in this video and what you'll have seen to start with is a bit of prep. I managed to source a free cement mixer. It was faulty, it just needed repairing. Now it did work, and what it were is the on button. Every time you pressed it, it would just cut off again. And then after maybe the 7th or 8th press, it would engage and start working. £9 later on eBay, I've got a new switch and I fitted that this morning, which you'll have just seen, and it's working perfectly. So that's another good job done. But what I'm going to do now is get the lighting prepped for the garden lights, and I'll talk you through what we're going to do. But ultimately, from the garden plan, what you will have seen is we're probably going to go for 2 lights sort of over there and then along to shine up the sleepers and then up the fence there and up the wall over there. What I want to do is sort of get the power outside and ready. It's definitely not going to be a how-to video. Those that follow over on Instagram, I'm a big believer that electrical stuff, unless you're competent, you shouldn't do yourself, and I will always recommend an electrician to do that. There is little jobs that you could do, maybe a light and things like that, but I'm a big believer that you shouldn't really be touching electrics if you can help it. So yeah, so what we're going to do today is get the power basically outside. So what I've got myself is a double pole fuse switch, which is going to be mounted in this cupboard. I've already drilled the hole, which you'll have seen from the time lapse, and that'll just be mounted in there with a maybe put a label on it to say what it's for if we sell this house. Then that will run to a junction box outside, which will be this, and then I've got some glands and cable for in there to for the armoured cable to be ran around the garden. In there is going to house this. Now this is a SONOFF smart switch, as it says there, and I'm hoping it works with that, the Google Home, and Honest phones as well. And what I want to achieve by using that is that we can basically say, hey Google, turn the lights on, and it'll turn the lights on, or hey Google, turn the garden lights on, or hey Google, turn the garden lights off, just so it's more of a convenience thing more than anything. So yeah, so that's going to be housed in the junction box. I had to buy the junction box specific to fit that. And then onto the garden lights. As I've mentioned, we're going for armoured cable, and then I've picked some of these up. I found them at Screwfix, but I found them cheaper online elsewhere, so I've bought 12 of them, and that should do what we need, and then they'll be wired into some junction boxes, which the sort of feed will all be into as well. I'm going to fill these with, these are Whisker junction boxes. I've never used them before, but they seem good quality, and they also do some sort of gel that you pour into them, and it sort of seals them from the elements. So I think I'm going to go down that route, that you can also remove should you need to do any maintenance. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be a heavy time-lapse video. We're also having our wall at the back built up. I was going to do that myself, but why bother? So that's being done there. So yeah, we should have some good progress today, get a few niggly jobs done that I'd rather do now than when we do the garden. So it's going to be time-lapse of it. I'm going to get going, and yeah, hope you enjoy. So this is the bit I like, so excuse the messy cupboard-ish. But obviously you saw the cable tongue, that's coming outside, so I can pull the cable through. Obviously the previous electrician, who will not go into details, as followers on Instagram will know I am not a fan, but we'll get that ran at least outside, and then I can get it ran down to where the switch location is over there. So we'll get that done, and yeah, we'll do that now, and then hopefully this will be a nice, good job done, and help save some time further down the line when lockdown hopefully released a bit. Now I do agree with what they're doing, so yeah, but it's not a discussion from here. So yeah, we're in a good position. I want to get the cables ran, and then I'll look to tarting up all the sort of final bits, such as the switches on, once the cables are in place and ready to go, and then we can do that. So yeah, make progress, and we'll carry on. These things, folks, are the best thing ever. So flexible. I also use cable rods, and everything has their own sort of use, but I find I use a lot more than anything else, and as you can see, it's made running that cable pretty easy. So yeah, let's crack on, get the switch mounted, and we just need to run another cable for the feed. But yeah, do that actually now. That should be pretty straightforward. Done. So we've gone from the socket there, and then it's all nice in there like that. Fuse switch, double pole, turn it off, and then it's completely isolated outside, staying in there because we've got the Wi-Fi switch. This is going to go outside, so that's sort of more of an isolator than a something to control the lights. So although it'll be on all the time when it's in use, we'll just leave it and sort of forget about it, but we kind of know it's there then. Under there, nice and neat, for if we need to do any maintenance outside. So we'll head outside and do that side of things. Well, I'm going to put the kitchen back together now, and then head outside and finish that. So the bulk of the garden lighting is done. I've got the junction box outside, I've got the cable in, I've got the power to it, and I've got the sort of isolator bit all wired in and plumbed up. Just nice. Now, when it comes to the SONOFF, the Wi-Fi switch, so this bad boy, I cannot get it to pair. No matter what I do, I've tried. I believe I need to do something in the settings of the router. I'm not up on all that, so I contacted a friend. He had the same issue, and because I'm wanting to use more than one potentially around the house, I thought I'll just send this one back and get some others. So I've ordered some Shelly 1, I think they are, or 1.5. I've ordered 2 of them, so I'm going to park this video here, and then hopefully when they come, it's now Sunday, so I'm hoping Tuesday, Wednesday that'll arrive, and we can look to get them installed. So yeah, I even made a special contraption, as you can see there. So basically, bought a plug, got some cable, just so I could try it nearer to the router. So I plugged it directly next to the router and it still won't pair. Due to the 2.4 gigahertz and 5 of the routers, and that not liking how it all happens behind the scenes. I spoke to a friend and he had the exact same, and he's a lot more up on IT than I probably ever will be. So yeah, we're going to scrap the SONOFF. I'm going to send it back, and we'll resume this video with some good news, hopefully. So yeah, you'll catch me then. So fast forward 2 days, and we do have good news, and the Shelly smart switches have arrived. I went for 2 because what I'm going to do is the up and down lights on the front, which there is a video to them, I'm going to change to this as well, to be controlled on the sunrise. So I've already set one up, and that's the one that's going to be used for the garden down there. So I'll take you through setting it up, but just for instance, so hey Google, turn garden lights on.
Got it. Turning on the garden lights.
Hey Google, turn garden lights off.
Got it. Turning off the garden
So
lights.
I've never really been one for smart homes, and quite a few people pestering me over on Instagram saying, no, you really need to get with it type of thing. So yeah, so what we've done is we've gone for the Shelly one. That's from advice of a friend. And to be fair, really neat and really small. So it's tempting to do all the rooms. So obviously there's one down there that's open. So I'll set this one up. So you get your instructions, but look at how small that is in the palm of my hand. Really, really neat. So this will work up to 16 amps. So pretty good for a lot of stuff. And then you have your live and neutral in, switched live, I presume, and then your outputs there to control the lighting and what have you. So yeah, controlled off her app, works with Google Home, and should do the job perfect. So what I'm going to do is get this one connected off my little sketchy device here, like I've done this one, and then go and install it outside, and that's it really. The garden lighting will be done as far as I want to take it for now. It'll be sat in the junction box, just ready to go whenever we need to connect up, but I'll temporarily connect up a light just to test it and see if it works, but I can't imagine any issues. So yeah, we'll get this one set up and take it from there. So all I've got is the actual Shelly devices, a screwdriver, and my little contraption to connect, just to power it up so I can get it connected next to the router or near to the router. So what we need to do is get this thing opened. The instructions are pretty good. So what I'll do is get this wired up to this and get it powered on. One thing to note is in here apparently is a jumper just in there. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, which determines what voltage it operates on. So it's something to check and make sure you do check. So what I'll do is I'll get this connected, and let's plug it in and power it up and see where we go. So neutral to neutral, live to live, and we'll take it from there. So at this point I was going to explain or do sort of a guide, step-by-step guide to the setup of the Shelly. Not as straightforward as it seems, and videoing it was not the easiest. So it is pretty easy, but what I found is it were a bit of back and forth, and it took 3 attempts for it to connect. The phone picked it up fine, so when it's powered on you could find it as a access point on your Wi-Fi. So what I would say is probably follow the instructions. If it don't work first time, try again. If it don't work a second time, try again. And it does connect. So I'm actually a day after right now, and I've reset them up again due to changing my password. And it happened again where you just have to do it 2 or 3 times and it seems to just settle itself down and then connect. So sorry I've not included that. Just follow the instructions and maybe do it 2 or 3 times and you'll be fine, honestly. Quite a good product, and yeah, we'll resume the video. So I think with the SONOFF, it was £6 cheaper than for the one to one of those, and I just don't see there's a need in it being so complicated for someone like me who's not really up on networks and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think these are a pretty good option. I'll link them down below as to, I bought them off Amazon, so they are on there, but I'll link them below. And yeah, so all we need to do now, go and get it installed outside and then we can test it. So I'll install the garden one and then that's that job done. So yeah, let's crack on and get it finished. So what we need to do first, make sure the power's off, which it is, and head outside. So as you saw earlier, this is where all the gubbins are. Nice neat junction box. The cable's housed there. So what we've got here is as live, neutral and earth, all isolated, so we can take them off. So that earth will connect into another one. So pretty straightforward. What you've got your live and neutral, that'll feed into here. But what I'm going to do is get a some of these Wago adapters and sort of use it as a buzz bar, and then we can feed that and control it however we want, because there's a few. So on here we've got live that comes into there, then we need live input there, so that's 2 off for here, and then the light is connected to that. So so yeah, I've got some wires here and some more cable, and so that's how I'll do it. Neutral, we're just going to common, so that's them there. So what we've got is another live in there, like so. And then that one in there, and then all them are there and waiting. So we can connect the lives to these. So what we've got, input live and output live. So that's in there. And then live to live, pretty self-explanatory. So that's your lives connected, and then we need to do as neutrals. Connect that in there. And that's as live and neutral connected. So all we need to do now is get the light. Live goes into the output, that's the input live, and then the neutral will just common into that, and then this is going to sit nice and neat in there. We'll have armoured cable coming out of there with a gland on, all nice and neat. So all I'll do is I'll go and get a light and we'll go and try it and get it switched on and see if it works. So we've got his light. This is what we're using in the garden. There is a brushed stainless topper and a mount for this, but I just want to try it and see if this works. So we can earth it into that one. Neutral can head into that one, and as live wants to go into here. So just please be aware this is purely a test, and I will neaten it up at a later date. There we go. So that's that in. So what we need to do now, go and turn the power on, see what happens. We've got the power on. So what we'll do, we'll go to the app. Hopefully this is so garden, device offline, preparing. Oh, look at that. Oh, blinding me now. So then if we go to the Google app and then down to garden lights. Oh, look at that, beautiful. So next test, see if Google Home works. So I'll run inside, open the window, and let's see if it works. Hey Google, turn garden lights on. So then these will be placed up there and along the garden. So, hey Google, turn garden lights off. Beautiful. And that is a success. Turn front lights on. Turn front lights off.
Sure, turning front lights off.
So I think we've succeeded with the entry into the smart home world. As you've just seen there, I've added it to the front lights and it works an absolute treat. So I'm over the moon with that. So it's a good start to the garden project. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.